Yeah, the frame, I wanted
But I've
one.
always done that.
Did you put a black, oh, you put the black and white photo in that? Oh, that's a good idea. What a good idea, that was a good photo, I like that photo. It's good. And I love the frame, I was like, oh my God, this is perfect.
Not do that.
Oh, drive electric, yay.
We got a quorum.
Yeah, should be looking at this later.
Janice, would you mind coming up?
See, I wasn't the last one here. Glad you weren't waiting.
I'd like to go ahead and call the Tuesday, October 7th, 2014 Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. We will have our invocation and our pledge done by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Clask. If you please rise.
We exercise the right of self-government that we enjoy as free citizens of the United States. We pause to thank you for the freedoms given to us by the generations of patriots who have preceded us and who risked their lives so that we may live as free men and women. We pray for the members of the armed services for the sacrifices that they are making, and that you will continue to comfort the families of those injured or killed in Afghanistan. We are hopeful that your grace and love will be with those who have suffered and with those present here tonight who share in their pain and loss. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Once again, welcome. Thank you for coming. Sorry for my casual dress. I've been in meetings all afternoon and never made it home. Bruce obviously had a jacket in his office.
I did.
Yes. But thank you for coming.
Really match?
Yeah, me and Jerry match.
Does that mean I have to apologize to you? I ain't going to.
Shot. We do thank you for coming. A couple of dignitaries in the house. The sheriff's here tonight. Thank you for coming. It's green shirt night. You got the support group with you. Thanks. We'll hear from him in a little bit. Our first agenda item is our citizens open forum. It allows you to address the city council. We only have a couple of rules: that you keep it to no more than 5 minutes, state your name and address clearly for the record, and do not talk towards anything on tonight's agenda. We'll start with the light side of the room. Anybody on this side? Yep. John?
Good evening, members of the City Council and guests. My name is John Benicas. I live at 125 Camphor Circle, number D in Oldsmar. A couple things tonight. On Forest Avenue, off of Forest Lakes Boulevard, the city recently put a nice new sidewalk in there. Even before the deluge of last week, that sidewalk still gets inundated with water, which is both a hazard to the pedestrians that are walking there, and I would think, Mr. Trask, possibly a legal liability to the city. So is there anything we could do to try to clean up the drainage on Forest Avenue, off of Forest Lakes Boulevard, on that new sidewalk? I think that would be beneficial to all. Secondly, and I'm under the impression this has come up before, on Forest Lakes Boulevard, coming up to Lakeview on that curve there, folks, the people that are speeding there, someone is, pedestrian especially, possibly a child, is going to get hurt if we don't do something about slowing people down there. I would ask the city, therefore, to consider 3 things. First of all, if we can encourage our law enforcement to start getting out there on a regular basis, maybe not so much giving tickets, but giving warnings. Number 2, I would appreciate if the city council would look into putting up one of those flashing signs that says, please slow down. And number 3, I would appreciate if at some point we could have a discussion about moving the speed limit from 235 back to maybe either Forest Avenue or Pine Avenue. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Loretta White, 601 Shore Drive East. I want to make a few comments about something that was on the agenda back in August, and it concerned green light. And this has nothing to do with your agenda item tonight. There was a Mr. Miller here, and I think he kept referring to green light as mass transit. Well, 24 miles of railroad track and a few obscenely priced buses do not qualify for mass transit. It's more like mass traffic jam. Both the gentlemen referred to green light as a tax swap. Well, I pay $30 a year, right here on my taxes, for PSTA. That's my property taxes ad valorem tax for them. That's once a year. But I'm going to be paying that sales tax 365 days out of the year. That's every day. No matter what I pick up, if it's a paper or a cold drink or whatever, I'm going to pay tax on it. 365 days out of the year, not once.
I don't think that's,
I was going to say, I'm going to let you continue, but that certainly is an agenda item tonight.
No, it has
Because
nothing
we're
to
going
do
to,
with that.
yes, it is, because we're going to discuss Green Light Pinellas
There are
tonight.
comments on things that were said at the August meeting, has nothing to do with tonight.
well, it's gonna be said again tonight, Loretta.
Well, not this.
Yeah, let her-
Bring that up. Yeah.
he's leaving it up to me, but I certainly think this goes along the lines of an agenda item tonight.
Has nothing
I'll
to
let you
do
go
with
ahead.
that.
Yes, it does. I feel that it does.
Well,
I'll let
I
you go ahead and
disagree
finish.
with you.
I will
Okay.
let you go ahead and finish.
Okay, I'll gladly pay my $30 a year and keep, I figure I pay about $75 extra in sales tax. All right, I'll gladly pay that $30 and keep that other $45 in my pocket, not in theirs. Now, if that's called a tax swap, I don't think so. The sales tax is gonna hurt the poor, the veterans, and some of the seniors. And I don't know, they didn't tell you this, have you seen this?
I'm old. I can't see that far.
No matter whether it's agreed to or not, in November, they are increasing your property taxes for PSTA right here. It's a 5.6% increase. Now, I call that greed. I don't know what you call it, but I call it greed. I could say a lot more, but I know I don't have time. But anyway, I just hope that the people in Oldsmar get the facts and don't go by promises. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Loretta.
And Loretta, I certainly would have not heard you. But I think it would have been more appropriate probably to be done at the other time. But that's fine. As part of the agenda item.
State law says you don't have to do it at the meeting.
I understand.
You know about it, but your attorney does.
I understand. Thank you. Yes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. Thank you for allowing me. My name is Adam Kendrovitz. I live at 40 Pine Tree Court, Palm Harbor, Florida. My wife and I own a restaurant in Palm Harbor on 19 at Tampa Road. It's called Rockstar Cafe. We're considering when we'd love to move here to Oldsmar. It's an expensive endeavor, but we would love to move here. We love this town. We've always lived close by here in these surrounding towns. We live in Palm Harbor now. We'd love to move both our business and our home eventually, so we're close by our business. We're asking if the city of Oldsmar offers any sort of incentives or any way of help where we would be moving from a location that might be about 550 more square feet, but our rent would jump $2,000. We are in an excellent location, but we like it here. There's a lot of great avenues for us here. There's the hotels. There's 5 hotels. There's 2 doctors' offices that treat cancer patients. Our services, we feed those type of people. Those people who come in need of something healthy, we're probably the healthiest place in the state of Florida. We serve organic only, and it's raw vegan and very healthy. I know Linda's been there, and I think Gabby's been there. And I would just like the committee to consider that as a small business owner. If somehow, some way, there could be an incentive for my wife and I. Our lease ends in March. We would love to get the ball rolling. We've looked into where Moe's is, and that plaza there. It's a great central location, and
We don't like it. It's outside the city of Oldsmar. That's all. No, I'm
that
kidding.
is, we'll move wherever you want.
Not Moe's.
Oh, Moe's. I
Not
thought you said
Moe's.
Lowe's.
No, Moe's.
I said,
I told you I'm getting old.
it's all right, me too. I can't see you, no. But and there's a lot of vacancy there. We've already had somebody else approach us and say, if you move there, I'll take a spot next door and open up a wonderful yoga studio. My daughter is one of the cheerleaders on, not mine, but the daughter of the yoga person. Her daughter is on the Lightning team and is one of the skaters that skates around. She would love to open a yoga studio to our right. So we believe with us would come a lot.
I'm gonna refer you to the gentleman sitting right there, Jerry Custon from the chamber, and he'll get in touch with you and find out what's going on. And we have a great relationship with the chamber, so
I would greatly appreciate that.
thank you.
All right, thank you
Thank
for
you.
hearing me.
Thank you.
look forward to seeing you here.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you.
Anybody else on this side of the room? How about this side of the room? Jerry?
Jerry Antozzi, 509 Shore Drive East, volunteer curator for the Oldsmar Historical Society. And I'd like to say that our guest speaker this coming Saturday is Loretta Wyatt at 10 a.m. and it'll be on the second floor here. For those that are watching and don't live in Oldsmar, the 1918 bank building is across from the Oldsmar City Hall at 101 State Street West. Come by and visit the museum. Some of the council members have, and we have some new displays. We have a Women's Club of Oldsmar display that just came up, and the club was organized in May 20th, 1919. The first president was Mrs. J.H. Thompson, and Thompson House is on Park Boulevard. The Women's Clubs of Oldsmar started the first library as well. And there's written receipts, original receipts. There's even a letter from Ariel's secretary. It's Ariel's stationery. And at the time, the ladies were asking Ariel's if they could name their library Olds Library. And he declined. But that's the original letter. He said, I will give you the deed to the land and the building instead. So that was a good deal, right?
Right.
And the Women's Club, if you think about it, it was started in 1919, but the women's right to vote did not happen until August of 1920. So I have a couple of displays of women's suffrage. And if you think, these women started their club and they didn't have a right to vote or serve an elected office. But if you look at the old records here in Oldsmar, back in 1927, when Oldsmar was changing to Tampa Shores, they had to elect officers. And in 1927, Annie Tyree was elected. So it's the first one I've read about, a woman being elected as, back then they called them aldermen. So you have councilmen, you have commissioners, but now this is aldermen. So she was the first one that I've read about. So she served as a teacher, if you know her. She was a teacher in Oldsmar. She was the principal of Oldsmar Elementary. She was a member of the Women's Club of Oldsmar. She was a civic leader. She was active in the Oldsmar Community United Methodist Church. And there are still members here in town that know her, or that knew her. She passed away. Jerry, did you know her?
No, she had always passed away when we moved here.
Okay. And the last collection that I wanted to talk about is the original postcard collection. Jerry Beaverlin gave it to the Oldsmar Historical Society, so it's all on display. And with it is an original, a copy. The city has the original 1918 Oldsmar booklet that's promoting Oldsmar health, wealth, and happiness. So I have a copy of that. And then Jerry gave us the little button that Harry Prettyman used to wear, and he used to try to sell the land in Oldsmar. And Jerry has stories on him that he can talk about at another time. But please come by and visit the museum.
You know, the Women's Club house was actually built for the workers
Right.
in 1918. And then, of course, everything was done by 1919. And it's at the original place where, actually, it's been moved, but that's...
Right, it's been moved, but the original paperwork where Ariel's was giving it to the city, the women, the Women's Club of Oldsmar, is down in the museum, so come and see it. Thank you.
Thank you, thanks.
Gary.
To the Boy Scout that's out in the hall, you can come on in if you want. I don't know if you can hear me. Sheriff, can you let him in? Tell him they can come on. Oh,
Ruben's gonna let him.
Ruben. We saw you waiting to come in, so.
Yeah, we're sorry we're late.
No, that's okay. We'll just embarrass your son. Come on up and tell us who you are and why you're here. And tell us why you're late.
He's slow driving. Hello. All right. I'm Sean Murphy. I'm a Boy Scout for Troop 475, and I'm here so I can complete my citizenship in the community merit badge,
Good.
which is an Eagle
You
required
came to
merit
the
badge.
best city to
do that.
Your badge.
You're not promised a fight or anything tonight, are you?
No.
Oh, okay, good. Sometimes they tell you that we'll get up here and fight or something amongst each other. Thanks.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Dad, for bringing him. Anybody else on this side of the room? Yeah, Tony, whichever.
Go ahead.
My name is Tony Gross. I live at 711 Satin Avenue, Oldsmar. This is my husband.
Craig, I live at the same address.
He's also the owner of Frankie's Patriot Barbecue, and he'd love to relocate to Oldsmar.
He knows his pain.
Here I am once again thanking my city council members and my community for their supporting us for the Gold Star Mothers and Families Day ceremony, September the 28th, Sunday before last. I want to recognize some special people. I want to recognize, first of all, Vice Mayor Linda Norris. Please stand up. Yes. Jerry, please stand up.
Jerry.
Come on, Jerry.
I did.
For being part of the ceremony and speaking. And while we're talking, there are photos from the ceremony being played. We also want to thank Mrs. Scott Nixon, AKA formerly known as Ann Stefan, for attending the ceremony that day. Special thanks to my neighbors, Mike and Mark and Eileen Brill. Can you stand up, please? For faithfully supporting me again for the third year in a row. I also want to thank Lynn Reeves and Parks and Recreation and Leisure Services. Where's Lynn? Thank you, Lynn. For allowing me to once again use the park and generously allowing us to use the chairs in the tent. Thank you so much. And of course, we have the most beautiful Veterans Memorial Park in the whole state of Florida, I think the whole nation. The weather was perfect, as you can see from these photos. Lindsay Clark with the Tampa Bay Ballet her girls did a beautiful dance performance. I also want to give thanks to our Scout Troop 64 and all the people who came to honor Tampa Bay's Gold Star families and to remember their fallen. And I'd also like to recognize close friends of ours, and this is the commander of the Department of Florida Military Order of the Purple Heart, Richard Hunt, and his lovely wife, Mickey. Please stand up. It's a surprise to us tonight as we didn't know that they would be coming tonight to support the initiative for the proclamation. Richard has been the MC for our ceremony for the past 3 years. So I just want to give you all thank you so much. Thanks and blessings. And would everyone who was involved in one way or another please stand up so that we can thank you and acknowledge you. Everyone who has been involved, and that's City Council. Everybody stand up. Stand up. Thank you so much. We love Oldsmar.
I apologize for not being there. I had clients/friends in and had a previous commitment, but I heard it was beautiful.
It was, Tony, get with Captain Lubin on the incident that happened. He knows about it. Get with him, and then you can give him the email.
I wasn't going to talk about that, Jerry, because there was so much good stuff that happened.
Just talk to Captain
Okay, I will later.
Lubin.
Thank you, Jerry.
And Tony, it was, I know I emailed this to you, but I've been on the council for over 4 years, and I've never attended a more beautiful ceremony in the city of Oldsmar. The dancers, the singers, and then I'm proudly wearing my support Purple Heart. Thank you, Richard. And to have a 4-star general at a time that we're at war come to our ceremony. It was beautiful. And then Craig fed us, and it was hot, so he went around behind the scenes and he snuck us bottles of water. It was, I just nominate you to be on every committee for every ceremony. I nominate you. So thank you. It was an honor.
Thank you, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Thanks. Thank you. Anybody else on this side? I saw one more hand. Yep, either one.
Good evening. My name is George Comey. I live at 539 Canal Way. And a while ago, I sent an email out to everybody. Thank you for those who responded. I did get yours tonight. And I'm looking for a little support with what I'm doing. I did get an email back from Lynn also. But I'm here to remind everybody of what I'm talking about. My wife and I were sitting down today, and it's about the trail behind our homes in Gullah Village, and it's the Oldsmar Trail, the recreational trail. I was going to read their names, but I decided not to because I don't want to put them in any type of jeopardy. But just my wife and I sitting down, there's 40 houses that are abutting that trail, okay? There's 10 women that live by themselves. These are the ages of them: 92, 75, 76, 77, 80, 68, 75, 84, 70, 75. And these are the only ones that we could remember. There are snowbirds there, probably 15 to 20 of them out of the 40 houses. And there's a bunch of us, you know. I'm a combat veteran myself, so I appreciate you guys, you know. And, you know, I never thought I'd be fighting a war in my own backyard, but that's what it seems like I'm gonna be doing sometimes, you know. I'm here to ask for the signs. I know Lynn's put a few up. So, number one, it's a good night to be mentioning this. You know, neighborhood watch. We would like 4 signs. We hear it's up to the city to have them, to approve them. I'm not quite sure how that works, but that's what our girl from that runs our neighborhood watch in Gullah Village said. So we're looking for about 4 signs facing the canal, because that's another front that we're gonna have to deal with, you know. We're looking for signs before our houses on each side that this trail closes at night. I did drop off some pictures from my little cam there, and we caught a couple of good people. The mayor was one of them, you know, sneaking down there. By the way, the trail was closed at that time. So just
Oh, would you tell us who that was you caught on the bicycle?
well, I didn't recognize him. My wife did, though.
Is that the mayor?
I believe so. So what I'd like is, and also for our own residents, you did a nice job on building 2 gates for us to access that canal, but our own residents are just as bad as anybody else. You know, we have to beat them over the head all the time there in Gullah Village, you know. So we need signs there also. We'd like signs that would say dogs off leash is an $88 fine, which I believe it is. And if they don't pick up after themselves, that's an $88 fine. And we'd like the signs to say that, because we point out to these people, I just heard an incident tonight, 3 greyhounds running loose back there. And when somebody said, hey, your dogs are supposed to be on a leash, right? I believe the comment was, we know that, you know? So, I mean, the signs would help, you know, and especially closed at night. If our citizen watch sees them, they can tell them, hey, there's a sign right there that says this trail's closed at night. So this is what I'm asking for. Also, no motorized vehicles. You know, that's pretty important, you know. We've had already motorized skateboards. We had 2 911 calls, one Friday night, which I know the couple that made that phone call. There was a drunken party down by the Blue House, and that's only a few houses away from my house. And they destroyed some signs that they had barricaded off in the culvert area. There was 5 kids down there drinking beer. 911 was called. I tried to go over to Sheffield Park when I heard about it to see if I could see them coming out and perhaps point, you know, the sheriffs in the right direction. But I didn't see them. They ran into the woods is what they did, you know. And I called 911 Saturday night at about 9:45. 3 motorcycles went racing down this trail, you know, spun around. We're gonna have donut marks in the middle of this trail, you know. I see it coming. It was already there last Saturday night, so. we're looking for some help. Don't forget who you're supposed to represent there. You know, those are our senior citizens, you know, and I'm willing to fight to protect them. I hope you are. You know?
And I appreciate you coming and bringing it to our attention. That's how we know when we have issues, and it's certainly going to be a work in progress that we're going to have to identify where we have weaknesses and things like that. So by you coming to us, or even, I don't care if you call me or contact me or email the city to let us know when you have problems, and do make sure that you use 911 when you need to do it, and don't put yourself in jeopardy.
No, I wouldn't do that. As far as me following him that night, I wasn't going to dog him down. I was just hopefully going to point him at the right house. That's all, you know. But
and Lynn's here and Bruce is here, so they hear what you're saying, and you know. You know, the trail is new, you know, so we're going to have to work out. You know, I do want to point out that I had good foreman style on my bicycle.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Don't let Vicky see it because I didn't have a
The
helmet
color
on.
of the sneakers was questionable, though. So. Well, thank you very much. I know we'll get the support we need, so thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, George.
Yep.
My name is Carl LaFrance. I live at 350 Canal Way, Gull Air. And I'd just like to give you some of my own personal comments on the trail in my backyard. It's really in bad shape. It's a brand new trail. And I suggest that every board member walk this trail. Don't ride it, because you can't see the defects, but walk it. I walk it twice a day. And there are so many cracks in that trail. And I believe, I'm not a contractor, I believe it's from the inadequate subbase. There are gullies in the trail. Now, it hasn't been approved by Lynn Reeves yet that I know of, but before he approves it, signs off on it for a final payment, I would have an independent contractor come in and do an analysis on that trail. It's poor. There are several areas where we still have standing water along that trail. It's most of the standing water is down by the Sheffield Park. But even in my backyard, which I live at 350, so it's not that far off from Curlew, the ground in the backyard going to the trail is still mushy this morning. So I was told that a few of the board members had come to the mayor's office and said that that problem, if there is a problem, would be addressed, would be taken care of. So take a good look at that trail when you get down through there. And if you need some help finding the defects, I know that trail like the back of my hand. And I'd be more than glad to spend a few hours with you.
Well, two things. I'm glad that you're using the trail. Are you enjoying it?
To a degree, yes, except for the problems we've had with some of the younger people drinking, and maybe it's because of lack of signs, but people are thinking, well, I've been walking my dog here for 10 years, and if I want to let him run loose, I'm going to let him run loose. Yeah. Now, you might take a look at one thing. My buddy here, George, didn't want me to mention this, but there's a retaining pond right behind my old house at 342. And there's an indentation of the fence. It's about 15, 16 feet deep and about 300 feet long, where I feel you could put up a fence to let some of the dogs run loose in that area. If somebody is complaining that there's no place for the dogs to run loose, that could be fenced in for maybe $2,000 or $3,000, I would think. And just let them go at it. And that way they wouldn't have an excuse to let them onto the trail, letting the dogs run loose.
Sure.
Because, But yes, I do enjoy the trail. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. And yeah, and we are listening. Lynn's here again, and Bruce has taken notes. And again, we have not accepted the work yet and signed off on it and made final payment. So we're certainly going to, get everything corrected that we can on there. So appreciate your input. Anybody else on this side? Yep. Becky.
Becky Afonso, 250 Strathmore Avenue. Good evening. The Florida Bicycle Association is holding their annual membership meeting a week from Saturday here in Oldsmar at the Fire Rescue Training Room, which is at 225 Pine Avenue North, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Prior to this meeting, Bike Sport, Oldsmar's very own bicycle shop, will be hosting a meet and greet reception Friday evening, starting at 5:30 p.m. Part of that reception will be me leading a bicycle ride, short and slow, on what I call the southern loop of the Oldsmar Trail. And then we will end the festivities at the Oldsmar Tap House. That is open to anybody that wants to come out and join us. Bring your bicycles, and if your bicycles need some work, Mike over at Bike Sport will be happy to help you out with that. Bicycles and helmets, and that's Friday, October 17th, and the meeting is going to be on the 18th.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Becky.
Anybody else in the room like to address the council? Seeing nobody, we'll close the citizens open forum. Next is something that we've recently added and kind of done the mayor's minute, which is something that allows me to share some information with people while they're here, but rather than waiting to the end. Some exciting stuff coming up. I want to address a couple of things that happened that were really exciting for the city. The first is Drive Electric Tampa Bay that happened Saturday, September 20th. I was honored to kick that off. It's the first time that we ever hosted that. I don't know if you participated in it, but I was down there and we got the numbers in today, and there were 2,500 attendees at the event, 470 test drives of electric cars in the city of Oldsmar, which was great. And 67 EV owners displayed their cars out there. So they were already talking about coming back. It was a great event, and Estefan from the city did a great job. The umbrellas were a super nice touch, so hats off to him and the city staff that put that on. Tony and Craig just mentioned the Gold Star Mothers and Families Day ceremony, well attended. I apologize for not being there. We also had General Lloyd Austin from CENTCOM Commander that was there. That was huge for him to come out. For people of my era, that's the Norman Schwarzkopf of Tampa Bay. So thanks for them. Update on the Forest Lakes Plaza. We're excited. The soft opening for Ross is Friday. The grand opening is this coming Saturday. If you haven't driven through the plaza, it really looks great. The landscaping, it has really given that plaza a facelift. And Aldi's estimated date is Thursday, October 16th, that they should be opening. We also did a benefit fundraiser, Guns and Hoses, 3 at Beef O'Brady's in Safety Harbor. The mayor of Safety Harbor and myself officiated it, and was the fire department against the police station, or the police department raising money. And Sheriff, you're gonna need to work on your guys with their chicken wing eating skills. I don't know if you're gonna have a class, but the firefighters beat them for the 3rd year in a row. So they were actually reaching across trying to help them eat their wings. So. And then another thing we're excited about, USGBC Leadership Awards Dinner. The City of Oldsmar has submitted 3 award applications, and that's going to be held October 15th at USF at the St. Petersburg campus. And we're really excited about that, and we feel really good about attending that and hopefully walking away with an award. And recently I also attended a manufacturer's banquet at Nielsen Media put on by the Chamber. And it's exciting. We were actually driving around with some people from Tallahassee today, and they acknowledged how much manufacturing that we have here. And we had 170 manufacturers reps at the dinner. So it's exciting. It was, it was a multi-county event, but held right here in the city of Oldsmar. So kind of wraps up what's going on in the city of Oldsmar. Our first item on the agenda tonight is our consent docket. We have 4 items. This is a new fiscal year for the city, so some of this is just housekeeping. Approve a 1-year contract extension with Appalachian Materials Service Incorporated for sludge hauling and disposal services. Approve the minutes of the August 5th, 2014 City Council meeting. Approve a 1-year extension of planning and engineering services agreement with Stantec Consulting. Approve a 1-year contract extension with Southern Analytical Laboratories. Does anybody wish to pull anything?
No.
If not, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second? Motion and a second, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye, passes 5-0, thank you. Next is the City of Oldsmar. We have a couple proclamations. The first is a proclamation for National Fire Prevention Week. I'll go ahead and read that. 2014 Fire Prevention Week, whereas the City of Oldsmar is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all living in and visiting Oldsmar, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire, and whereas home fires killed more than 2,700 people in the United States in 2013, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 369,500 home fires. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported homes fires in half, 3 out of 5 home fire deaths result from fires in properties without working smoke alarms. In 1/5 of all homes with smoke alarms, none were working when smoke alarms should have operated but did not. It was usually because batteries were missing, disconnected, or dead. And whereas Oldsmar residents should install smoke alarms in every sleeping room, outside each separate sleeping area, and on every level of the home, and alert devices that meet the needs of the people who are deaf or hard of hearing. And whereas Oldsmar's residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Oldsmar's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2014 Fire Prevention Week theme, Working Smoke Alarms Save Lives, test year every month, effectively serves to remind us that we need working smoke alarms to give us the time to get out safely. Now, therefore, I, Doug Beavis, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim October 5th through 11th, 2014 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the city, and I urge all the people of Oldsmar to test their smoke alarms at least every month by pushing the test button, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Oldsmar's Fire and Emergency Services. Dated this 7th day of October, 2014, Doug Beavis, Mayor. And I am presenting. Words of wisdom?
I'd just like to let everybody know that if you have a fire, escape first, then call 911. Also, if anybody does not have a smoke detector in their house that's a resident of Oldsmar, please give the fire station a call at 749-1200, and we will arrange to provide you with a working smoke detector. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marty, why don't you tell them what you do?
I'm the fire code administrator. I take and inspect buildings along with our regular fire inspector, and do all the plan review for new construction.
Thanks. Our next is a proclamation for Purple Heart City, which is great. I'm honored to read this, and also honored to have Mayor Dave Eggers here from the city of Dunedin. They were the first city in the United States to become Purple Heart City. So I'll go ahead and read this. Purple Heart City, whereas the city of Oldsmar, Florida has always proudly supported its military veteran population, and whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in present use and was initially created as the badge of military merit by General George Washington in 1782, and whereas the Purple Heart was the first American Service Award of decoration made available to the common soldier and is specifically awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded or killed in combat with a declared enemy of the United States of America, and whereas the mission of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, chartered by an act of Congress, is to foster an environment of goodwill among the combat wounded veteran members and their families, promote patriotism, support legislative initiatives, and most importantly, make sure we never forget. And whereas the city of Oldsmar has a large, highly decorated veteran population, including many Purple Heart recipients, and whereas the city of Oldsmar appreciates the sacrifices our Purple Heart recipients made in defending our freedom, and believes it's more important that we acknowledge them for their courage and show them the honor and support they have earned. Now, therefore, I, Doug Beavis, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim the City of Oldsmar as a Purple Heart City and encourage the citizens of the City of Oldsmar to show their appreciation for the sacrifices our Purple Heart recipients have made in defending our freedoms, to acknowledge their courage, and to show them the honor and support they have earned. Dated this 7th day of October, 2014, Doug Beavis, Mayor.
Thank you for the city for all the efforts that went forward. I'd like to introduce some of the members. Richard Hunt, Commander, Purple Heart. Okay. Richard Welts, Commander, Dunedin Chapter, Purple Heart. Reverend Bob Swick, past Commander, Dunedin, Purple Heart. Thank you for you and the city for all your efforts. Okay. Also, I want to introduce Craig, Purple Heart family recipient, and his wife Tony in the back.
Who wants this?
I'll hold on to it for right now, and I'll give it to Frank, so I have a little something to say.
Sure.
Okay. I don't do this often. Okay, good evening, folks. My name is Mark Rowe, and I'll be speaking in place of Frank Chicola tonight, who had a prior commitment. On behalf of the Purple Heart recipients, Purple Heart family members, and all the veterans of the City of Oldsmar, I want to thank Mayor Doug Beavis, all the City Council members, along with the City Manager, Bruce Haddock, City Attorney Tom Trask, for their efforts in making the City of Oldsmar a Purple Heart City. I also want to thank Frank Chicola for his dedication to this effort. Sorry he couldn't be here tonight. The City of Oldsmar is a Purple Heart City. Excuse me, making the City of Oldsmar a Purple Heart City is a way of honoring those service men and women who were wounded during combat. We need to remember that freedom is not free, and that some gave all gave some, and some are still giving. Thank you very much, and God bless. Thank you.
They also brought us a flag tonight up behind the podium, so thank you for that.
That's borrowed.
we have it up there. I'm going to acknowledge it.
99% is us.
I don't think there's any hiding in this. Thank you, Richard. I got mine.
I know.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome.
And thank you. Once again, thanks to all the men and women that have given their lives, and as you said, are still giving their lives today, and will continue to give their lives to keep us the greatest nation in the world. So thank you for that. Our next item, presentation from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Gualtieri is here. Thank you for coming tonight. Love the new green outfits.
Yeah, good, thanks. Most people do. Every once in a while I get well, wear the white shirts, I like those better. But change is good. Sometimes it's hard, but it's always a good thing. I just wanted to stop by and say hello. It's been a while. I think I was here earlier in the year or late last year. We're now up to 13 different contract cities that we provide policing services to, of course, as well as the unincorporated areas. So I can't get to everything out here in Oldsmar, as much as I love Oldsmar and it's close by, but I wanted to stop by and say hello and make sure things are going well. If there's anything that we're not doing we need to be, or things we can do be doing better, we'll work on that traffic for you. And I already talked to the deputies. They'll be in touch with you on that. We just opened a brand new public safety campus and Sheriff's Administration building. The old one is down. It's a history now. We're having an open house coming up here at the end of November, early December. All of you will be receiving individual letters on that. We hope you can come down and see it. It's about a 220,000 square foot building, about $80 million. And it houses, in addition to our operations, it houses the county's emergency operations center, as well as the consolidated 911 and Sheriff's Office emergency communications. The EOC is a far cry from the old one. If any of you had an opportunity to see that in the old basement in downtown Clearwater, This is a new state-of-the-art facility, which we hope we never need, but we have to plan for. And you have an opportunity to see that as well as the consolidated communication. So again, if you can join us, we have 2 dates, the end of November and one in early December, to try and accommodate schedules. But I think it'd be worth your time to see what drives what you get here as far as law enforcement, and especially emergency operations and the Emergency Operations Center down there. Overall, crime's down throughout the county. Case closures are up, arrests are up. We're very safe. Homicides are a fraction of what they were around the county for last year, so that's a good thing. So we're in good shape, but I just wanted to make sure that, I mean, where I see it, but what's important is where you see it. We value the relationship with Oldsmar and its citizens. Of course, we've been providing police services here for many, many years, and it's one of our original contract cities. So, but anything that we can do for you, let us know. Anybody's got any concerns, I again, just want to stop by and say hi.
No, thank you for coming out, and our new community police officers are doing a great job. And, you know, obviously there's a learning curve in getting up to speed, but it's great. And you know, you hear from our citizens, they're not afraid to speak up, and you guys respond. That's the best part. So.
That's what it's all about. You know, as you said, Mayor, a few minutes ago, you can't solve problems you don't know about. So we need people to be our eyes and ears and tell us, and then it's up to us to handle it from there, and we will. You got 2 good new deputies out here. John Long, of course, he retired a long time from the city of Clearwater. He was over in Safety Harbor for a while, and Don Clace, who's back. So I think that they'll do you well.
Deputy Long keeps me in line. He's my neighbor. Yeah, he's my neighbor.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Close by if you need him, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Anyway. All right, well, anyway, thanks for the opportunity to spend a couple seconds and talk to you. And you've got my numbers. If you guys need anything, if anybody needs anything, call me directly. Let me know.
Good deal. Yeah.
Always have this always gives me an opportunity to, you've already alluded to it, that we were the second city in Pinellas County to go to the SO in 1975.
Yes.
We were one of the first smart cities.
Yes, I agree.
I remember when Dunedin finally went, that they asked me, the mayor over there asked me to come over and make a presentation that how great y'all people were. What did he do? He leave?
No, he's right there.
Moved on me. And so they put it to the people, and the people become smart.
Well, hopefully there's a couple other ones. The most recent one was St. Pete Beach. We took over down there in January, and Mayor Eggers came down and helped us out. Same thing you did for Dunedin. And we got a couple other ones, and St. Pete Beach saw that we saved them in the first year $2.4 million. So things are good. There's a couple other ones. Maybe they'll see the light. I don't know.
Maybe Kansas City will see the light next.
I don't even want to talk about that. Yeah, they should. Yes, they should. You're right. We just hired 2 of their officers, so they're down to 8 now. So anyway.
It's interesting you say that, and we talk about it, and you know, especially us that deal with budgets, and you obviously deal with a huge budget, but you know, to be able to staff your own, you know, police department, you know, is very expensive, and you know, we pay a fraction of what we would pay if we had to do it ourselves, but yet we get all the resources that the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office has. You know, not everybody needs a bomb team and a SWAT team, and you know, but you have them there at your disposal.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it's the value added, if you will, because there's a lot of, you get the whole package, you get everything, and what's in the contract is a fraction of what you pay for. So it works out well, and the economies of scale, the lack of redundancy, and having all of your own things, and it really does make a big difference. And there's no way a city the size of Oldsmar could have all of it at its disposal what it would otherwise have. Let me give you a quick, and I know this is about Oldsmar, not about Kansas City, but you want to see an illustration of this. Is Kansas City, the town of Kansas City, you mentioned it, Jerry, is their town budget's $2 million. That's it for the whole town. The police department's about 1.2 million of that $2 million budget. Wow. We offered to do policing for 300,000, and they said no thanks. So I mean, you know, but it's an example of the savings, and then all of what we bring on top of that, and it's working out really well with the cities who do have it, and they get everything, all the resources behind it, and everything from, you know, the Marine unit out here in the Bay to the canine units to dispatch to forensics to the flight section. I mean, across the board. So we're very happy and glad to be one of the first. It was here right here in the city of Oldsmar, and been a long time. I think Seminole is the only city in Pinellas County when it became incorporated that never had its own police department. So they never even had one, and they contracted with us from the beginning, so.
But they cannot claim to be before us. 'Cause we
No,
were
they can't,
sitting
you're right.
there.
You guys are definitely.
I will not, and I will not allow them
I know.
to claim that they were before us.
Well,
They tried that, but I won't let them.
Well, there's definitely a special place in our hearts for Oldsmar and the long-term relationship, and we want it to last for a very long time to come. So
Thanks.
we're happy to be here for you.
Thank you.
On a recent note, thank you for coming to our town, by the way. We love to see you guys. Just today, a citizen came to my house this morning and had some complaints about a code violation and possible safety issues of the house next door to my house. I called Ann, and I went out and I came back. There was a code enforcement or a city vehicle and 3 sheriff's cars. And I'm like, uh-oh, okay, something's really happening here.
Yeah,
So I mean,
right,
it was like they were there, Deputy Long was there.
Yeah, good.
And
good.
so it was like that fast, you guys really take care of even the small things like that, so we really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, we're glad to do it. Glad to be here for you.
Thanks.
So, yeah, good. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Tony has something to say.
Oh,
Stay there, please. Mayor Richard would like to present the mayor and you with a special challenge point.
Okay.
oh. Uh-oh.
It's okay, Doug, you don't have to go to active duty.
He's got a gun and a taser. Can I just stand over here?
History of the challenge coin is a military thing that goes back, as we have been told, to World War I. Had to do with a fighter pilot that was shot down behind enemy lines. Uniforms weren't what they could be today. The gentleman was captured by what appeared to be friendly forces. They thought he was a spy, and were going to stand him against a wall and shoot him summarily. He happened to have with him a coin given to him by his squadron. And as a last-ditch effort, he provided that coin and said, really, I'm a good guy. And they looked at it and decided, well, they were going to give him a chance, and it survived. Kind of went out of vogue for a while, and it's back with a vengeance these days. The mayor and the council and all the people here with the words from our Purple Heart recipients, this area is very, very special to us with the Gold Star moms and families. On it goes, and what we have, normally I don't show what I have in my hand. One side of this says all gave some gave all, and the other side says some still give, which is very appropriate. So it's generally done this way. People don't see it. You fold your finger in, and it just kind of disappears. I would like you to look at that coin from time to time and think about the good things you've done. And what you have done is an amazing thing as well. We would like you to do the same thing. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tony, don't forget to get with Glenn. He's over there, he's waiting for you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Do they want their flag? Is that ours now? Do they want their flag?
All right, our next item on the agenda is our city attorney.
I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Next is our city manager.
Thank you. Mayor and council, item 8, consider request to waive special event fees for the 5K Run for Water. This event is scheduled to be held on October 11th. The city is a co-sponsor of the event along with the Florida section of the American Water Works Association. The estimated charges for the event are $1,000. The request is to waive all of that other than a $50 fee for electricity. The proceeds from this event will benefit Water for People and Oldsmar Cares. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. I recommend approval of the request for the fee waiver.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Anything else?
That was it for tonight. Thank you.
City clerk. Oh, the first for Ms. Nixon.
A qualifying period starts on October 20th, so it's just a reminder, open seats are seats 1, 2, and 3 on the council, so get a hold.
Mayor,
Yes.
I got something in the email the other day that come up with a name that we were supposed to do something to this individual at the clerk's office. And I said, I don't remember them hiring a new employee over there.
I didn't recognize
Oh.
either.
Well, maybe that new furniture, no, that new furniture was for Deb, and it finally dawned on me. Not Ann Stefan anymore. I was confused there. Well, I'm confused a lot, but I was confused.
I was going to say. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you. City Council, we have a couple items. The first is consider a resolution 2014-21 supporting Greenlight Pinellas Transit Improvement Program. This is something that came up at the last meeting that the city should probably, I believe Councilmember Roniker brought it up, that, the city should probably decide how we want to stand on this. I think the way we want to handle this is do you want to read the resolution?
I'll be happy to read it.
Yep.
And I'm just going to read it by title only. Resolution 2014-21, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar in support of the Greenlight Pinellas Plan and providing for an effective date. That was reading of Resolution 2014-21 by title only.
Thank you. And just for discussion, we need a motion to approve in a second. Motion in a second, so we can discuss. We're not voting, we're just.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay.
We have to do something.
Yeah, we have to do something. We're not voting, so.
Well, if you did nothing, what happens?
No, we're going to vote on it.
Well, I understand. But yeah, what does happen if we don't get a second?
Then it fails.
Okay.
I want to vote.
Well, that's fine. Motion in a second and open for discussion. Anybody want to start? Jerry?
No, I'm in total support of a bus system. I'm absolutely against a rail system that means nothing to nobody from Clearwater to St. Petersburg. And everybody's talking about, well, we need mass transit for the east coast of Florida or the west coast of Florida. Will that be the case? And start right here in the city of Oldsmar that goes to Tampa and have it come from Tampa into the Pinellas County and down that way, and I support it in a minute. But from Clearwater to Tarpon Springs, that means absolutely nothing to nobody.
Go to St. Pete.
St. Pete, from Clearwater to St. Pete. It's ludicrous. It doesn't make any sense. I would spend the buck or the 1 cent or the half cent or whatever, or they could raise their which they're going to do. They're going to raise their millage for buses. But I am not going to vote for a stupid train track from Clearwater to St. Petersburg that doesn't make a bit of sense to anybody. Nobody. Now, they say, this is the beginning. The beginning of what? The beginning of what? I mean, where's it going to go from there? Across the Skyway into Manatee, maybe? I don't know why. But that means there will never be a connection, Mayor, to Hillsborough County from Clearwater.
I'd like to hope
Not through
you're.
the Gandy, not through Courtney Campbell, and not through Howard Franklin. If it does, it's going to cost this county mega billions of dollars. This way, it's already set up.
And I want to talk about that if we can, but I appreciate your input, and you can reserve the comments also if you have some more. Councilmember Roniker?
Well, there's no secret where I stand on this issue. I mean, I've been pretty much against it from the first time I've seen it, but, they're asking to go from a $34 million revenue supply to almost $130 million increase, which is to increasing it to $130 million, which is a 300% increase in revenue. What business ever have you heard of getting an extra 300% increase in revenue? It's insane, but the plan takes 10 years to implement from this rail. 90% of the plan is for this rail that goes from Clearwater to St. Petersburg with 24 stops, or I think it's 24 stops, 17. Or 17 stops. And it needs a regional approach. Without you being able to, right now, today, for this plan, to get to Hillsborough County and know how you get back and forth, it's not worth the money. And it needs to go back to the drawing board. And this plan, I'm all for mass transit, but it's got to be done as a regional plan. And that's been my whole say since the get-go.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
I've been kind of on the fence on this for quite some time, but I have been doing a lot of research on it, and I believe that I'm voting for the citizens that elected me, and like Mayor Roniker said, former Mayor Roniker said, it doesn't hold enough for what it cost for anybody that lives north of 60. South of 60, I would be for it. If I lived there, I would be for it. But north of 60, I don't believe it, $2.2 billion to build. It would also make, and $130 million a year to maintain. It would also, which I'm very against this. There's 67 counties in the state of Florida. We would be the highest sales tax in the state of Florida if we pass this. Then couple other concerns that I have regarding it is, if we do pass it, that's going to bring us up to 8%. And then what if we need, we want to renew Penny for Pinellas, or I'm afraid of the negative impact that it's going to have on things for the arts, for teachers, for everything else that might come up. What are we going to then go to 8.5? We're going to go to 9? I mean, it's just too much money. I agree. It's just too much money. And it's too much money for those of us in North County. And I've read the pros and cons on whether or not it's a regressive tax or whether or not who's going to benefit and who's not. And it's pretty clear that people that own homes that are higher in value are going to save a lot of money. People that own medium-sized homes and low-income homes and people that don't own a home at all of those people are going to pay more. And I don't agree with that. And I read a study and it said that 11 cities in Pinellas County are going to pay less. Cities like Indian Rocks Beach, some of the all of the ones along the coast, they're all going to pay less. Oldsmar, these are the ones that are going to pay more. Oldsmar, Palm Harbor, Clearwater, St. Pete, and Dunedin. Most of those are north of 60. So I'm coming down on the side of a no. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
We haven't voted yet,
Yeah.
but.
So those are my comments.
Kenny?
Well, I just came back from Europe, so I used a lot.
I saw you ate a lot. I did see that.
I ate a lot. And I do have to say, the public transit system obviously is exceptional over there, and I used it every day. The trains, it was not that easy to drive around there, and very easy to use trains and buses and things of that nature. And so I do think that the city and the county needs public transit and a better transit system. I think we all know that the bus service is terrible, and I don't necessarily think that tripling their budget is going to make it any better, because what has been done with the money we currently have. But you can't do a lot of things too if you don't have enough money. So I see both sides of that. But the concerns I mentioned at the green light presentation were that, especially around buses, is that there'd be rapid service, and the problem is we don't have the infrastructure, and we don't have plans in our infrastructure to support that. I mean, when I was in Europe, they have lanes just for buses, or they have places for buses only to be able to stop and pull over, and we don't have those things. And on US 19, that's almost complete, thankfully. There are no, places for bus lanes and bus routes. I think the comment mentioned was that they could use the shoulder. I just don't see that happening, and I don't see it happening anytime soon. So I do have concerns around that, and same concerns around the sales tax. I even personally don't want to pay an extra cent on everything that I buy, especially because there's no sunset, which I know that was your concern as well. When does it ever stop? And who knows, how do we know there's not going to be asked for more? So I am on the fence, because I know that there's a need. I think it also helps, especially from a tourism dollar perspective. I mentioned this at one of the meetings before when I was in Chicago. My friend lives there, and it was very easy for me to visit her because she lived near a transit system, and their bus system is exceptional. I walked up to a sign, I was able to text the number, and it said the bus will arrive in 3 minutes, and that bus was there in 3 minutes. And it took me to the transit station, and I was able to get to the airport with my luggage very easily. And so it encourages people to come and visit and travel and spend their tourist dollars here. So I see all of that, but I do have concerns about the money and how it will be used, and it doesn't necessarily support North County residents.
Thank you. And you guys can comment again before we vote if you want, but I've been involved with Greenlight Pinellas, a lot of the meetings with Mayor Mayor Buckhorn and Mayor Kreisman and Mayor Kraticus. I've been involved in transportation in one way, shape, or form for the past 30 years. And I kind of mentioned this one day that it was exciting when I started my engineering career that, I was going to be part of, making regional transit. And I think we all agree. I don't think there's a question that we all agree that we need regional transportation. It's the direction of how we get there. But I was excited, 30 years ago. That would have made me about 10, I think. But, and I say that, and I use this as a reference in that 30 years ago, I was a brand new father with a brand new baby, and I was excited about, building the future for my daughter and the future moving forward. And here we are 30 years later. My daughter is now 30, and she just had her third grandson that's now 1. And we're no closer to regional transportation than we were then. And I think that this is one of the ways that we can do it. I appreciate former Mayor Roniker's comments and having been involved in regional transportation projects and it's always been the Hatfields and the McCoys between Hillsborough and Pinellas County. And they could never come to an agreement. And I really, truly, honestly feel that for the first time ever, we're as close as we're ever going to get to taking the next step into regional transportation. I've gone and met with Nielsen Media, one of the biggest employers in Pinellas County, in North Pinellas, in Oldsmar. I've talked to the people of Vology, another big employer in the city of Oldsmar. I was not able to go to United Healthcare's meeting, but I have spoken with the representatives that went, and they're another big employer in the city of Oldsmar. And again, we're elected officials that not only represent the residents, but we also try and build a better city for our businesses. And all 3 of those companies that we speak of that are right here in the city of Oldsmar and big community supporters do support Greenlight Pinellas for various reasons. It gives them, their employees, other alternatives. I mentioned at the previous meeting that Nielsen Media has a lot of older people that would like to work later, but they don't want to drive at night. The extended bus service would give them the opportunity to do that. We have a lot of people that may not have cars, and this would certainly afford them the opportunity. And then we talk about regional transportation, and again, I think that this is the catalyst to do that. That's my opinion and my opinion only, but we talk about it, how we do it. Former Mayor Roniker talks about regional transportation. You were on the MPO, the PPC. I was on the PPC, and we continue. And Jerry has continued to say, "What's in it for Oldsmar? What's in it for Oldsmar?" And we are getting closer. And I would like to ask Maria Dolphine to come up. She's been heavily involved in this, and finally, in the past week, the city of Oldsmar has finally got on the regional map that is the long-range plan, and it uses the rail that's already here. But I mean, we've expended all this effort reaching out to the MPO and the PPC, waving our flag, making our squeaky wheel to let's not forget about the city of Oldsmar, and that we are the land connection to Hillsborough County, and that we want to be part of regional transportation. We are your connection. We have a rail that's here. As you said, it's going to be gazillions of dollars to go over the Howard Franklin Bridge, but we collectively as a council and individually as councilmen have lobbied to continue to get Oldsmar on the transit map. And I'd like Marie to kind of, if you could, expand a little bit on what you've done and where we've been and who's involved in that. We are really close to regional transportation and a plan that will get us there.
Well, basically, like a few meetings, or a short time ago, Michael Crawford, the executive director, came and provided you like an update, what we're doing at the Planning Council with regards to the updated countywide plan map. And at that meeting, it showed, the overall countywide plan and the transportation initiatives. It really complements the Greenlight Pinellas plan. So we had, city staff had objections because we weren't really recognized, so we worked very hard with PSTA staff and the Pinellas Planning Council staff, and they have revised the map, and we just had We just got the update from the Planning Council, and they're telling us that the vision map will be updated to recognize PSDA's regional connector as a regional corridor on Tampa Road, offering transit to areas in Pinellas as well as neighboring counties, and that means Hillsborough. And they're also going to recognize the CSX line. So that was a big plus for us because they were just kind of ignoring that. Even though it would be commuter rail and won't occur anytime soon, it's still going to be recognized on this map. So.
But it has nothing to do with the Green Light Initiative.
Yes, it does. Actually,
There's nothing in the plan for the next 10 years.
Well, the updated countywide map is, actually reflects the PSDA green.
But this means nothing. This means, this is a piece of paper that has some green marks, green lines on it.
It's linking transportation and land use,
But it
and it's
means
going to
nothing.
affect how we're able to develop properties along the corridors.
But Mayor, you know, this whole discussion is a tragedy because I would be one of the strongest supporters if we had a regional plan to work with.
Well, this is, you know, the first phase of going towards that regional plan.
I understand that, and there's a lot of work, but this is the first phase of nothing. This is on a piece of paper. This shows us a piece of paper. This has nothing to do with anything.
Well, it's going to be updated by the Pinellas Planning Council and the
The
MPO.
PPC for 7 years. I was the chairman of the PPC, Pinellas Planning Council, for 1 year. And the people before me was talking about this, and the people before them was talking about this. 40 years ago, they were talking about this, Mayor. Okay, let's say the tragedy of this is that we all support bus systems. And Gabby's right. The planning of this is insane. You don't plan a great bus system unless you've planned the corridors first for the bus system. I mean,
Well, I appreciate that, but we can't just start mowing down property. And I mean, we've kind of been given the palette that we've been given.
but that's what they're going to do. They're going to mow down property.
Oh, you're talking about for the rail?
Yeah, with the rail. I would have no problem paying the 1 cent. I don't want to pay more 1 cent sales tax, but I would have a problem paying for that. It was for a updated bus system. Or let me tell you, if Pinellas County passes this, Hillsborough County is going to get on the bandwagon. Sure they are. No, they're not.
Oh, yes, they are. Hillsborough County is all over it.
Yeah, over there.
No, here, they're here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Who's going to pay for the rail crossing Howard Franklin Bridge?
Probably try and get the state to pay for it, or the
Sure.
federal government.
Yeah, okay.
I think if it votes down, Hillsborough County and Pinellas County get a clear message that regionalism is the way that you need to approach this. And
totally
it changes
agree.
the game and makes the game correct.
And I couldn't agree with you more, but for 30 years, we've never been able to accomplish a regional.
That's because Hillsborough County and Pinellas County can't get together.
But I'm saying this is the first time that we've ever been able to, as close as we've been able to get to getting them together.
I think that's a great thing, and I think everybody should work on that. But having a rail from Clearwater to St. Petersburg just does not make any sense. The green light people, please, if this fails, y'all get together with Hillsborough County and y'all form another committee or whatever it takes.
Well, that'll be 10 years. Or more. My grandson will then have kids.
Shouldn't be 10 years.
But it probably will be. I mean, you're being
When are you going to
realistic.
ride the rail from Clearwater to St. Petersburg?
I would if I needed to, absolutely.
When do you think you're going to ride it?
He'll be the first one to ride it.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean,
Come on, you're asking him.
I'm a firm believer of transit. I got another question for you, but I would, and I mean, we've talked about it, and I've been to a lot of the meetings with the green light people, and I was at a big transit symposium that we went to, well attended, and they talked about the economic impact of mass transit and regional transit and things like that, and how it helps with the development. You got the West Shore hub that they're going to have there. I'm a firm believer that we've got to do it, or it's going to be 10 years. And the downside of it is the loss of the the economy growth that we have. You know, the millennials are not going to continue to come to this area. They're as I said, when my daughter was born, I was hoping I was, maybe going to see something for her. But, you saw over in Italy, I mean, they like to be able to not have a car and ride around and get where they need to go. And we're going to lose a lot of economic positioning against other cities.
I disagree with you on that. We have the beautiful beaches out here, and this year they had a greater increase than they've had in years, and it's going to continue that way forever.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, to that point, I would agree that we have beautiful beaches. And I was with the CEO of Tampa International Airport, and he was sad to report that he's adding, even more parking for rental cars, because when the people come from Europe that don't know how to drive, they don't know how to get around, they've got to either use the shuttle, they've got to have a friend pick them up, or they've got to rent a car.
Mayor, I've got to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
When they fly in now, and after we pass the 1 cent sales tax, and they build the rail from Clearwater to St. Petersburg, he's still going to have a problem, isn't he? Because they can't get from there over to Clearwater.
Oh, that's perfect. And thank you for the lead-in. Marie, could you talk about the plan at the airport and what they've talked about?
Again,
hold on.
It's another piece of paper.
Well, believe me, and I said this, and I mentioned this at one of the things I was at. I said the funny part is 30 or 40 years ago, both the Tampa Bay area and TIA had a vision of rail. The difference is TIA built it and we haven't, and here we are 40 years later. They can have a vision and they can do it, and I mean, they are an incredible machine over there, and I know you've been involved with that. If you could just address how that ties into some of
Wait a
this.
minute, Mayor. You said we haven't. Who is we?
What?
TIA has done it, but we haven't. Who is we?
Well, the Tampa Bay area, we don't have rail.
Then who?
Well, he did have that one rail, I forgot, that went from the Fort Brooke Garage over to Harbor Island.
Whose fault's that? That's not the city of Oldsmar.
I didn't say it was the city of Oldsmar. I'm just saying regionally, it's, that's the issue that we're at.
Then the region has failed.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more.
Okay.
Can you address
Basically, the Greenlight Pinellas plan that shows the regional connector through Oldsmar to Tampa International Airport.
It's a piece of paper.
There are different entities are speaking, and this plan that they have for the updated countywide plan map is mirroring the Greenlight Pinellas plan.
How long have you been the planner for the city of Oldsmar? How long have you worked in the city of Oldsmar as a planner or assistant planner or whatever?
27 years.
How much?
27.
In your 27 years, how many of these have you seen? Don't tell me you haven't seen any of them, but I know you have.
But this is going to be adopted
This one's going to be adopted.
by the Planning Council. We're going to have to adhere to the regulations of this map. The city will, whenever we have a land use amendment, any kind of expansion, or if we want to rezone or, change the land use, we'll have to meet the requirements that are set forth in this map.
I've heard you say that before, and I've heard our planning department say that before in the last 24 years. And here we are still with another piece of paper showing green lines that they wish for.
No, this is going to replace the countywide plan map. It's in existence now.
Okay.
Again, I think the whole point is to get us to a regional. And I think what I've heard at all the different conferences that I've gone to, and the TIA people want to tie into the rail that runs right through the city of Oldsmar. There's a private spur. I've met with CSX Railroad. They should be releasing their plan before the end of the year, let's say. They're meeting with the DOT. And this is what happened over in Orlando. What's it called over there? The
Sunrail.
Sunrail. Over in Orlando with the Sunrail. And what happened was you had various municipalities, like we right now have Hillsborough and Pinellas, and there's a vote happening in Polk County for a similar thing to improve their bus and transit system, which is then adjacent. And CSX is presenting this plan that's going to show the rails that they are willing to allow to be used for transit. And I think that's a huge step. They know that their rails are underused and underutilized and that they can be used. And what they are doing is they're meeting with the DOT, because what really has to happen, and Jim knows this, and we all know that you really need somebody, which was what happened in Orlando, and the DOT took the leadership. That once CSX kind of did this same scenario over there, the DOT took the leadership, and then you wind up getting state and federal funding. to implement what they have over there, and they're getting ready to expand it. I think all of the rail systems throughout the country that are in place, every one of them but one has expansion plans. And what we need here is a plan that both Hillsborough and Pinellas and even Polk or Hernando and Pasco, once they get on board, that the DOT, because we have so many entities, the MPO, the TBARTA, the, everything under the sun. And what you really need is the DOT to kind of be the leader in this and take the role, so that at the state level and federal level, they are only dealing with one person. That's what happened in Orlando, and it was successful. And I just truly feel that we are taking the steps necessary. Is it the ideal perfect plan? No, it's not. But I think we're taking the steps necessary to move this thing forward. And, getting back to it as a city, as an elected official, not only for the voters, but to try and, again, make a better city. If 3 of the biggest employers in North Pinellas County are right here in the city of Oldsmar, and they feel like this is a help to them and this will help them, help their employees, that's what it's about. I mean, it's about, helping, the business community. It's about helping the residents. It's also about helping the elderly, to give them additional options to be able to get health care and be able to get to doctors and be able to do the things that they need to do so that they're not so car dependent.
But Mayor, we're for that too, but this is the tragedy of it. We're talking about buses and rail system.
And I understand that. And again,
talking about buses.
It's the cost that gets me. I mean, the governor of the state turned down $2 billion to do rail from Orlando to Tampa.
Yeah.
And this is $2.2 billion to go from Clearwater to St. Pete. I mean, really, how is that going to help our employers here? I know the expanded bus service is going to help the employers, but the bulk of this money is going to a rail system that's not going to help us. I do understand. I do believe that the future, that we have to build on the future, but at this cost?
Well, and I think
For the cost, they're also looking, I
Right,
think,
at
for
the
$37 million from the state of Florida
Right.
and another $980 million from the federal government.
yeah. Anyway, I mean, the Clearwater to Feather Sound and to St. Pete component of it, I mean, they looked at that and they studied a lot of things. Unlike the Hillsborough plan, when they did that and it miserably failed the last time, they didn't really have a plan. And they looked at this and they looked at the employment centers and where people need to go. And I mean, I think we all talked about, that this, you have a phase 1, and I think the next phase that we've talked about is the phase 2, which is the component that does connect Hillsborough County to Pinellas County, and then that's where you.
That goes from Pasco, Oldsmar to South
There's a line that goes.
I like that.
There's a line that goes, and it's a CSX line that goes right, I don't know where it is, somewhere near Busch Gardens or something like that goes north straight up to Hernando County.
But is that rail or bus?
No, it's rail. It's rail, but that's how, you've been in Italy and been, Chicago and the big cities. You gotta have the improved rail system to move people around. The improved bus system to move people around to get them to the rails. And I mean, I see this Clearwater to, the employment center and the tourist destination. I see that as just the first part, and then, this rail runs right through that line, and, although they're not the same technology, you could build a station that would take the diesel locomotive of the rail system, the commuter rail, and tie it to the light rail system, and, and you are moving people around, and you're moving people from Hillsborough to Pinellas. I mean, the rail runs from downtown St. Petersburg up through Oldsmar right here. I'm surprised we haven't heard the horn tonight. I tried to get it arranged, but and then down to the city of Tampa and up, and there's this private spur that runs right to Tampa International Airport. So I mean, the pieces and components are there.
Well, Mayor, I suggest we vote. We can talk about it all night.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of great things that could come from this. I think the problem with it is that we're giving all this money up front on a bunch of what ifs. And I personally, I brought this up when they presented, was that yes, Ulmerton is a huge employment center. I mean, that's where Cisco's based, that's where Tech Data, to the companies I work with every day, and Tech Data is the largest public company in the state of Florida. Sure. But the majority of those people do not live on Ulmerton Road. So it benefits the tourists, which in the end benefits all of us. I mean, it really does. But if it was really to support people getting to and from work, it wouldn't be only running that direction.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think what happens when you do that is when somebody's getting ready to move that might work at a Cisco or work at, they move.
It does happen.
They move, and you've seen that. I mean, this isn't a pipe dream. It happens. It happens in every city that has a rail. I think it was, I can't remember where the director of the PSTA came from. Was it the former director? And I think they did it in South Carolina, and they wanted to move the rail away from the city because they didn't want it to be an eyesore. So they moved it out to the side, and lo and behold, everybody over the 10 years moved to the rail. They wound up moving to the rail line because that's where they wanted to be, or near it, or where they could catch a bus to it.
Well, everybody on this council supports our businesses here in town. I support all of them, and I know everybody on this council does. And I would like.
I think we all support mass transit too.
Right, we do.
We don't like the plan.
I would like to, maybe if it's possible, Mayor, to call for the question, because we're going to sit here and talk all
Well,
night.
I mean,
That's an important.
my concern about, say we all voted and we voted yes, we're basically stating that we're representing the city of Oldsmar and that the city of Oldsmar is in favor. And yeah, there's probably, I'd say maybe 50%, if you had to guess, would probably be in favor, maybe 50% would be opposed. I don't necessarily think it's fair for us to do this resolution because at the end of the day, everyone's going to vote on it November 4th. I just feel like it's a false statement whether we say no or yes, because we really don't know. We've heard from some residents, we've heard some from businesses, but we're basically saying that majority of the citizens feel the way that we feel, and we don't know that. I don't
That
know.
is exactly,
Have you had anybody in the
that's,
city of Oldsmar tell you that they support it?
Businesses, I
Yeah.
know, and Pinellas Realtor Organization is, there's a lot of.
The realtors, right.
Yeah, but I mean, and like I said, I'm not personally on the fence. I haven't made up my decision yet, but I just feel like putting a resolution out there, whether it's yes or no, is a false statement because I don't think we have gotten the answer from majority of our residents. And I just feel like come November 4th, that's your answer,
That was going to be the point that I was going to make as well. It doesn't, whatever this vote isn't going to make.
What have you always
it
said
doesn't
about
matter.
resolutions?
This resolution doesn't
Say
matter.
it's a piece of paper.
Other than.
You say it's a
Doesn't
piece
matter
of
one way
paper.
or the other.
Other than, I believe that the citizens of Oldsmar can do their own research. They can do the exact same thing I've done over the weeks, do their own research and come up with their own decision. They're going to do that ultimately anyway. And
If anything, it encourages them to.
Exactly, exactly. So maybe this discussion will encourage them to then go and look and figure out
Or
where
seeing if
they
we
fall.
pass it or we
But it's
didn't pass it,
ultimately up to the
it piques their
citizens of
curiosity.
Pinellas, not us.
But I mean, when we had the presentations and then we had the, when we had the Green Light Pinellas presentation, I was, I'm for mass transit.
Sure.
But then when we had the no tax for tracks, I thought, man, there's a lot of things here that you don't think about until you hear them.
Right.
And when I was talking to some of my coworkers, they said, I wish you'd blog about this, because a lot of people that live in Pinellas County aren't informed because they just don't have the, the ability to be informed. And so we can't just say everyone should do their own research, but
You can't just listen to the ads because
Okay. So we have a motion and the discussion, and so we need to take a roll.
You have to take a vote on the
A
motion.
vote on the motion. By roll?
You don't have
You
to.
do voice.
You can do it by voice vote.
Okay. All in favor?
Well, read the motion so we all know what we're doing.
Motion is to approve resolution 2014-24 as written, 21, as it's been presented.
All in favor? Aye?
doing a roll call?
No?
Okay.
All in favor? Aye? All opposed?
No.
No.
Fails, 4-1.
But we're not against.
We're not against magic transit.
I'm opposed to doing a
You're opposed to doing a resolution.
Yeah, because I feel like it's a piece of paper and it doesn't speak, we don't know how all of our residents feel about it. And personally, I still don't even know how I feel about it.
So it's not that we don't support the thing, we don't want to support a resolution.
It should be up to each individual citizen of
If
Pinellas
I
County.
can't say tonight myself yes or no, then how can I say in a resolution yes or no? I just,
Gotcha. I respect that.
I can say tonight.
Well,
So the actual thing is that we don't support doing a resolution.
Well, the resolution just failed.
Right, yeah.
There's nothing else.
What did I do with my notes? That's it. Next item is comments by council members. And we'll start with Vice Mayor.
I'll be real quick. I just wanted to again thank Tony and Craig and everybody involved in that. That was wonderful. And to give my apologies for not being able to make Drive Electric. I was at a deployment ceremony for my niece who's going overseas. And I was really sorry to have missed that event. That would have been Christmas for me, to be at a, drive an electric car event. I know. I was living vicariously through you guys on Facebook, seeing all your pictures and everything, so. And I just wanted to, just on a personal note, I just wanted to say to everybody that I've lost 2 people in the last 8 days. An 84-year-old friend and a 32-year-old friend that passed away yesterday. And you never know what and when is going to be the last thing you ever say to anyone. I just talked to Matt, 6 days ago, and thank goodness it was a wonderful conversation, and we planned on going to the football game this Sunday. But you never, ever know what is the last words a person is going to say. Now, one of my friends was 84. It's a well-lived life. But Matt was 32 years old, and it's just been so solemn for the last week because I went to the Gold Star Mother and Blue Star Families event, and you've got mothers and families that have lost their children, and you've got other families that have their loved ones deployed and in danger at every moment. Like, I don't know my niece Selena. I love it when I get the little Viber text from her because I know she's okay. And then in 8 days to lose 2 friends, and you see it all the time on TV. You see death all over the place, and it's almost like we're numb to it. And then when it hits that close to home and it hits to somebody that young, I'm going to start crying, so I'm not going to keep going. But just tell your loved ones that you love them. Give them hugs. Think about the last thing that you say when you're hanging up the phone. Think about the last hug, the last word, because you just don't know. So I'm not going to start crying. So that's it.
Councilmember McGee, World Traveler.
Yes, I did. I'm kind of on that topic. I took my mother to Italy. I got back yesterday, and it's because you just never know. Yeah. And my mother's always wanted to go to Italy, so we did that, and it was amazing. But also, I have a Purple Heart myself, not for me, obviously, but my mother gave it to me several years ago for my great uncle Caesar. So that was just kind of a neat thing when we got the proclamation, because I've actually had it for several years at my house.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah. I need to check my family because I know I had some relatives. I think we all probably have them. We just don't share that with everybody. So. And
that's all I have.
No birthdays? No. You haven't had time to do your research?
I've jet lag. She's got jet lag.
Come on, you're on a plane for like 20 hours.
Am I missing anyone? Okay.
Beaverland. Time's up.
A bunch of them, I'll be quick. Just to piggyback on Linda, one day I had a son, and the next day my son was gone. I had a beautiful 16-year-old granddaughter, and some of the SO came to my house, 6 of them one night, Saturday night, and my granddaughter was gone. So you're not promised tomorrow. Yeah, I just want to comment on the light at Bayview again. I sat there for 7 minutes. I don't want to let y'all know that. I sat there for 7 minutes. Why everybody going east got a red light also, same time as everybody on Bayview got a red light. Everybody going west on Tampa Road just kept going. The people on Bayview was honking their horns. The people on Tampa Road going east were honking their horns.
There's something wrong with that intersection. I don't know what we do about it.
Horrible. And then the signs at Galera on the, I would like to have the city manager maybe give the council a schedule when these signs are going to go up. And there needs to be the signs that he had talked about. We do need motorized, no motorized vehicles on that thing. We need those signs. And I'd like if the city manager would give us a schedule for all these signs, where they're going to be placed, and how they're going to be placed, and also give the schedule to these beautiful citizens right here. Well, I know Galera. So if you do that, I would appreciate that. Has anybody been out to Wellington Estates lately?
Yeah.
Yes.
You talk.
I talked to Bruce about it today. I've been there, but I talked to him about it.
Big homes, good gravy.
They're big.
They're huge. They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. They just are wood and brick right now, but I assume they will be, yeah.
I heard they sold 10 already.
I think they're almost sold out.
Oh, they're sold out? Okay.
They're sold out?
Oh, I said almost sold out. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of them out there already, and they're big two-story.
They're big.
super nice homes. And I just like to make, if you go out there, you'll see a fence on the right-hand side next to the sewer plant. It matches the beautiful fence that surrounds Wellington Estates.
It's not a fence, it's a wall.
A wall, you're right, Mayor. A beautiful wall. Well, I think we were gonna put up a fence there. It's gonna cost us maybe, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000 to put up a fence there. And somebody went over to Wellington and talked to them, and so Wellington
It's really nice.
built the fence on this side too and saved the city a lot of money, so that's great. So we got a beautiful fence on, wall on both sides. My garbage wasn't picked up yesterday.
Oh, Lisa. Poor Lisa.
I won't complain.
No, you just go on national TV and do it.
I just brought my garbage back in, and I'll put it back out Thursday for Wednesday night. Now,
Along with your recycles.
the garbage was picked up on the east side of Pine, but they never come back on the west
Are
side of
you,
Pine.
are you sure you put it out on the right night? Are you sure you put it out on the right night?
Is somebody getting back at me? Is that what they're doing? I haven't talked to Jerry about this, so he's gonna go cross-eyed, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. And I think if Jerry would think about this, I think he may not want to agree with me. The chamber does not need all the space that the chamber has. It doesn't need it. And I think I'll ask the council to consider the part of the meeting room. The meeting room needs to go to the, or shared with, or somehow with the Historical Society. They need more room. The chamber has a huge area there. There's 3 people in there. And I don't know how much that meeting room is used, but it can't be
Use that
used.
meeting room quite a bit. I've been to
gets
meetings where
used.
the outflowed out the door into the
It does
hall.
get used a lot.
Well, then the Historical Society somehow needs more room in that bottom floor. So I would like the city manager or whoever it is, the council, to consider that. We need to work.
You got
on it.
plans of cleaning out your closet?
Yeah, can we annex in your
That's what I'm
historical
doing
room at
now.
your
Yeah,
house?
quit bringing so much stuff to them.
Well, they need more
They
room.
do.
They really need more room. And other than that, I haven't said this for a while, but I'm gonna say it now, you know. Good night, Janice.
Yep. Councilmember Reiniger.
I'll start by congratulating Mrs. Nixon on her marriage. We all participated a couple weeks ago. Congratulations. And when you're speaking of walls, I want to thank Dan Zaraki. If you didn't know, my wall in my house got crashed into back in July.
Not the house, but the wall behind you.
Wall, yeah, going through my backyard.
How did that even happen?
I woke up one Tuesday morning and 7 o'clock, fire rescue was in my backyard because there was a car through it. It's kind of surreal when you wake up and you look and there's a car in your yard. Luckily, it didn't come into the pool enclosure or anything, but they finally got it fixed last week since July.
Take down that sign, it says open house.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Dan. And then I had a complaint today from a business. I guess they had met with the city on a number of occasions. I don't know if you're aware of this yet or not, and I'll try to be as quick as I can, but they met with the city on numerous occasions. The guy wants to build a paint store on Tampa Road over by GSA on that big vacant field. He just wants to build a 4,000 square foot building, put it up to the architectural standards and everything that we want. Had a number of meetings. They met. He decided to buy the property. He paid $20,000 for engineering fees, and then they submit the site plan, and they got told that they had to pay for traffic concurrency mitigation. And that had never come up during any of their conversations, and they feel like it's like, hey, have we always been charging that on Tampa Road? Is that something new? Because I didn't have an answer for
Well,
the
we've
one.
always had transportation impact fees, but I'm probably need a little more information about their,
I'll give
I
you
know
the-
about the store, but
Okay, I'll give you I'll send you the email. I only got it late this afternoon.
yeah.
I'll send you the email tomorrow. And with that said, I've got to be at the hospital at 9:30 for my sleep disorder check.
Check into sleep. I don't have much. It was funny, I went to the seven-chamber function at Bright House Field a couple of weeks ago, and well attended, but when I was walking up to the Bright House Field, I saw all these younger than me anyway, and not all of them actually, some of them, and they were carrying backpacks full of Frisbees. And I thought, what in the heck is going on in here? Well, if you know, on Wednesday nights, they have a happy hour and they have like a big cornhole tournament and all kinds of stuff. Well, I get in there, and in the outfield, actually in the field, they have set up Frisbee golf on the field.
Where? Where is this?
Bright House Field. I mean, yeah. And so they set up a couple of if you don't know what Frisbee golf is, it's a pole with chains and a basket and similar to golf, but it's a poor man's golf. But I used to play it as a kid, and they do it there. It's up on the hill and it's all around. And I thought, wow, ecotourism, how great would that be to have something like that in the city of Oldsmar? And I came back, and Kathy actually mentioned a location, and I went and looked. Sheffield Park would be a great location, and I brought it up to Bruce. I thought I'd bring it up to you guys to see if we want to look into it, because it's really a low-cost event for the city. Low-cost event for the city. Is he mic'd up out there? It's a low-cost event, low cost for the city, because once you set it up, then, it just kind of takes care of itself. It's very well attended. I mean, I've been by the one in Clearwater, and, they use a lot of it. The difference between Sheffield Park and Clearwater is that, Clearwater has a lot of canopy trees, and so I went down to the beach and looked at that area with all the canopy trees down there. I don't know, it's one of those things that we're trying to promote, that we're a ecotourism, and especially even at Sheffield Park, it's right there connected to our trails, and it's going to ultimately be connected into the Pinellas Trail system, and those people are very much about that typically. And
Has Michael talked to you? There's a resident. I know. I think he reached out to Lynn a while back, but I saw him not that long ago. But there's a resident that lives in the city he even brought like people in that wanted to sponsor Frisbee golf, like actually getting us a field and stuff.
Oh, I didn't. I just happened to see. I thought of it when I went to that game. I'm like, and I played it years ago. I don't know what the council's thoughts are looking in it. Lynn, did you make some comment about it's not going to happen, or what? What'd you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It was a few years ago, though. I think he brought in some people that wanted to sponsor.
To me, it's like something that I don't know what the expense is. Do you have any idea? I mean, let's just throw a number.
I think it's at least $2,000 for a basket. It's a couple $1,000s for a basket. Yeah, and you need 8 to 10 to have a decent game. So you're looking at a good amount of money, and then you need a place to put it. And,
sure.
And then the other thing you think about too is, and I don't know how it works with the sponsors, but sometimes if you have the sponsors, well, the shops, you probably want to shop in town. Maybe they would open up a shop to either rent out discs,
sure.
People. But there are a lot of people that play and they have their own discs. They invest in the discs, but those aren't cheap either. So,
yeah, no, it's not.
There's some financial costs, but
I mean, but for the city, but once you put it in, it's not. There's no upkeep. It's mowing and. Which we do anyway. All the other stuff, I mean, it's kind of a one-time deal. And, we might even be able to, it might be something that you could even sell sponsorship at the top of the basket, and they help defer some of the cost, or, I don't know, it was just a thought, but, it's a nice ecotourism we're trying to come up.
I like that it's got the ecotourism spin to it. And also, as far as you saying that it's poor man's golf, it's known that all across the country, all across the world, golf courses are closing down one after the other because the interest is not there for the young, and it's expensive sport. So they're trying to do things like put a big hole, and they're having soccer golf.
They actually play soccer golf.
They're playing soccer golf because the younger generation, they want something that's easier and more fun. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, actually, my friend's son plays for the Rowdies, and he was one of the ones that did it like a commercial for them.
Soccer golf?
The soccer golf, yeah. And I don't know, I just thought it was something that, another thing to add to us that's, not, you don't really see a lot of it. I mean, I think it would be well attended, and another thing that would bring people to our restaurants.
I agree.
I thought about the beach, but I don't know that these people are going to pay $10.
Well, you don't want your Frisbee going into the water either. I mean,
well, you should be a better thrower than that. Plus, we have a canal. I'd rather.
Take stock out in the,
I
in
have
the
thrown
Frisbee
into the
rental
pond.
company.
I'd rather go into the beach though, into the canal than into the canal. But
I have seen people go into the pond to get their disc because some of them are like $100 or more for a mouse disc. So.
oh yeah, yeah. So anyway, thoughts on it? I think we're done.
Lynn probably has maybe the information of the guys from a few years ago because I don't have it.
Do you have info on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thoughts?
Yeah, I like
Okay.
it.
All right.
I say we pursue it.
All right. Good. That's all I have.
Can we get our signs up first?
Maybe we'll put them on top of the frisbee golf
Frisbee
things.
golf.
We'll put it right.
A target.
There's something else we need to
Tomorrow. We'll make up a room.
consider in the
Angry when he
future.
sees a basket up tomorrow.
Go ahead.
With our new lake, we might want to put a Boy Scout retreat out there on.
That idea.
There's a lot of options for out there. I think once we get out there and can see it and find out what's really developable out there, I'm excited about that.
I think we all should go out there as a group.
We can't, can we? Because we can't.
Well, if
because
we
it'll-
make it a meeting, we can.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can do that.
As a meeting? Yeah.
We've walked trails before.
Yeah, as long as it's announced and all that, yeah. So,
I think it's a great idea.
I do too.
I like it.
all right, do we want to set something up? I've always wanted to go out there. I just haven't gotten a hold of Tim to do it,
I think we should set something up and go out there and look at it. It's beautiful.
especially now that it's cooling off and drying up a little bit.
And Lynn's got it all mowed all the way around.
Oh, does he?
Well, so should we probably need to go this week then, 'cause, with all our rain.
Yeah, I don't care. If we can schedule something, that'd be great. Anything else? If not, I need a motion for the tentative agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I gotta go. Not bad, 8:45. Get to sleep, buddy. Right? I hope you pass. I don't know, do you pass?
I think everybody, once you go to the test, I think you fail and then you get the insurance.
Yeah, that's what they, because